Hey, what's up there, everybody? Good to be back with you here again. And we have the Reds of the Cubs here back in 1908. And of course, we're going to show you the Cubs, who are at 8-1 and who are the toast of the National League. Hans Lobert will lead this one off for the Reds. His rolls a 53 for a 20. That's changed to a 21. That's going to be a little ground ball down to Frank Chance at first base, who boots it. And Lobert is on with as the first base runner, and that'll bring up Miller Huggins. And you know what I'm looking for, and we're going to do it. We're going to do it. We're going to live a little hit and run. And the roll from Huggins is a 52 for a 27. That is a ground ball over, of course, to Steinfeld, the third baseman. Throws over to first for the out, one away, and that'll bring up John Gansel. That was always that trivia question, right? We knew about Tinker to Evers to Chance, but who was the third baseman? It was Steinfeld. And most people don't know that, but if you watch my replay, you're going to know it in a hurry. Here is John Gansel, and he rolls a 24 for a 13. That's a strikeout, second out of the game. First strikeout for Orval overall, who has 13 this season. Dode Pasker now rolls a 16 for a 28. That's going to be a little ground ball over to Tinker. Throws to first for the out. Here's Johnny Evers to lead this off for the Cubs. To load it off is right. Going to load it up, and he rolls a, whoops, that was wrong. We are going to undo that play. It was a 42. This is me reading my my white as red and red as white. I'm getting my left and my right screwed up here. That's a 42, as you can see there, for a 14, and he walks. That'll bring up Joe Tinker, and I'm not even going to look. I know what we need to do. Tinker rolls a 44 for an 8, and that's going to be a little ground ball over to Huggins, the second baseman. Throws to first for the out. Evers moves up to second. That brings up Frank Chance, and this is where these Cubs are just so dangerous. I mean, they can do so much damage to you in this first top four in this order. Chance rolls a 32 for a 26. That's another ground ball to Huggins, the second baseman. That will send Evers over to third. Huggins has only one play at first base, and here's Johnny Kling. And the roll from Kling is a 31 for a 9. That is a single that will score 1, but Kling is then thrown out by Pasker. The left fielder throws over to Holswit, and they get the tag play over at second base for the out. And that is the third out. We go to the top of the second inning, 1-0 Cubs, and here's John Kane. Kane rolls a 52 for a 27. That's a strikeout for overall because of that X, one away. And here's Mike Mitchell. He rolls a 34 for a 44, and there's a little E chance. And the roll's a 32. It's out of the range. It's a fly ball over to center field, and it's going to be Slagle who has it for the out, 2 away. And here's Rudy Holtzwith. He rolls an 11 for a 0, and his next roll is going to be a 26 for a 7. That's a clean single to right field. Admiral Schley now comes up, runner on first base, 2 outs, top of the second. Schley rolls a 36 for a 33, and that's a little pop-up over to Steinfeld at third base for the out. And I can see that my children have just come home, so if you'll excuse me for a second, I'm going to pause this, and we'll be back in a second to finish this one up. Hey, what's up, everybody? And I'm back. Of course, you didn't miss much. Here's Jimmy Sheckard now. Bottom of the second inning, nobody out, just leading things off here. And his roll is a 15 for an 11. Let's see if I can actually get this to work. There we go. Roll 15 for an 11. That's a single to left field, and Sheckard will steal the base with Harry Steinfeld up there as the next batter. And here comes Steinfeld, and here is a question about do we bunt or not. I think probably the right thing to do is to bunt. And so we do bunt. We roll a 35 for a 39. Rare roll, and that means that the pitcher, Ewing, ends up catching him off of second base, and he throws over to Holswith for the out. And that is the first out here in the bottom of the second inning. Steinfeld's still up there, and he rolls a 34 for a 44. And that will be a little E, and let's see what happens here. Rolls a 35, and that's past that. That's just going to be a little fly ball over to Kane in center field for the second out. And here's Wildfall Schultz. He rolls a 36 for a 33. There is a little E roll again. Let's see if this one's in the range or not. This is just out. 26 is the roll. That is a little pop-up over to second base, and Miller Huggins has it for the out. And we go to the top of the third, Bob Ewing. Ewing's roll is a 42 for a 13. He strikes out. Strikeout number 3 for overall. Overall has a lot of strikeouts. The next roll is a 66. I had to look at it about 3 times to make sure I saw it right. Hans Lobert now, and he rolls a 46 the next time around for the 6, and that's a double for Lobert. And there's one out here, runner on second base here for Miller Huggins, who's going to swing away. His rolls a 15 for an 11, and that is going to be a single that will not score the runner. That's a good play made out there in left field by Sheckard, throwing over to Kling to get the runner at home. Huggins, however, is able to steal second base, and so the Reds miss that chance to tie the score. And here's John Gansel. He rolls a 23 for a 32. That's a fly ball over to right field. Schultz has it for the out. We go to the bottom of the third, and here is Jimmy Slagle. Slagle rolls a 13 for a 14, and that's going to be a walk. And here comes Orval overall, and Orval is going to bunt, of course. Not much else we can do with him. And he rolls a 45 for a 14, and that's going to be a ball because Ewing has that Z. Next roll is a 66 for a 4. Oh, man, it's a sad waste of a 4. And that's going to be a little bunt over back to Ewing. He throws over to the first baseman, Gansel, and that will send Slagle up to second. Johnny Evers now. He might not get another 66, the whole year. Evers rolls a 54 for a 45. Here is that little E-roll, though. It's a 45, so that ends up being a little fly ball over to right field. Mitchell has it for the out, 2 away, and here's Joe Tinker. And Tinker's roll is a 13 for a 39, and that's not going to be good. That is a runner out stealing third, and Slagle's out trying to steal third base for some strange reason. And we go to the top of the 4th. Here's Dode Pasker. Dode rolls a 46 for a 29. That's a strikeout by Overall, and that's number 4 for him. John Kane now rolls a 13 for a 14. There's the walk. Here comes Mike Mitchell. Mitchell will roll a 56 for a 34. It's just a little pop-up over to Tinker, the shortstop, 2 away, and here's Rudy Holswood. Rudy rolls a 42 for a 32. It's a fly ball over to center field, and it's going to be Slagle making the catch for the out. We go to the bottom of the 4th. Here's Joe Tinker. And roll from Tinker is a 14 for a 43. There's a little E-roll to worry about. We'll ponder this one, and the roll is a 56, and that ends up being a fly ball over to Pasker and left, 1 away. Here's Frank Chance. Chance rolls a 54 for a 45. That's a fly ball this time to Mitchell on right. 2 outs, and here's Johnny Kling, and he rolls a 35 for a 9. Single over short, and that'll bring up Jimmy Sheckard now. Sheckard rolls a 16 for a 28. That's a little ground ball over to Holtzwit. The shortstop throws to first for the out. We go to the top of the 5th. Fast-moving ball game here, as usual, for 1908. And Admiral Schley up there now rolls a 64 for a 13. Strike on number 5 from Overall. And here comes Bob Ewing, and he rolls a 52 for a 27, which is another strikeout, number 6. Hans Lobert up there now. Will he strike out the side? The roll is a 35 for a 9. Now that's a single, but Lobert then is thrown out trying to steal, and that'll bring us to the bottom of the 5th. Harry Steinfeld now. Roll by Steinfeld's a 44 for an 8. That's a ground ball over to Holtzwit. Throws to first for the out. 1 away. Here is Schultz, Wildfire. He rolls a 56 for a 34, and there is a little E chance. Rolls a 16, and there is your little E. That changes to a 22, which is an error on Bob Ewing, the pitcher. 1 error for both teams, and here comes Jimmy Slagle. Slagle rolls a 53 for a 17. That's actually changed to a 19 because of this randomizer. That ends up being an error on the third baseman, Hans Lobert, and that brings up Orval overall. He's going to bunt again, and I hate to do this because it means something good will change to something bad. His roll is a 45 for a 14, and that ends up being a ball. And the next roll is a 14 for a 43, and that's going to end up potentially being a sacrifice. We'll see what the little E says. Rolls a 25, and so that is a bunt back to Ewing. He throws over to Huggins, the second baseman covering first base for the out, moves the runners up for Johnny Evers, 2 outs, and runners on second and third. And Evers rolls a 55 for an 8, and that's going to be just a quiet fly ball over to Kane in center field. He makes the catch. We go to the top of the 6th. Miller Huggins up there now. Huggins rolls a 22 for an 8, and that's a ground ball over to shortstop. Tinker has it, throws to first for the out, 1 away. John Gansel rolls a 35 for a 9. That's a base hit, but the little C gets him. He's caught stealing, 2 away, and here's Dode Paskard. Rolls a 21 for a 30. That's going to be a fly ball to Sheckard in the left. We go to the bottom of the 6th, and here's Joe Tinker. Tinker rolls a 63 for a 31. That's a fly ball to Kane in center field, 1 out, and here's Frank Chance. Chance rolls a 21 for a 30. That'll be a fly ball to Pasker, left field, 2 away, and here's Johnny Kling. He rolls a 36 for a 33. And there's another little E roll. This one's a 26 out of the range. That's a little pop-up over to Higgins, the second baseman. We go to the top of the 7th inning, and here comes John Kane for Cincinnati. 1-0 ball game. Kane rolls a 23 for a 32. It's a fly ball to Schulten right, 1 away. Here's Mike Mitchell. He rolls a 32 for a 26. That's a little ground ball to Evers. Throws to first for the out, and that's 2 away. And here's Rudy Holswood, who rolls a 12 for a 24, and that's a quiet ground ball over to that is a ground ball to Tinker. The shortstop throws to first for the out. We go to the bottom of the 7th. Jimmy Sheckard now. Every time this yellow thing here changes, I get a little confused. And Sheckard rolls a 32 for a 26. It's a ground ball to Huggins. And second baseman makes the play. Throws to first for the out, 1 away. Harry Steinfeld rolls a 15 for a 10. That's a single to center. Only the 4th hit of the game for the Cubs. That'll bring up Schultz, and you know what I'm checking, and he does not have that all-important 11. And so we're going to bunt. That's what we're going to do. We're going to bunt. The roll's a 13 for a 14, and we know what that does. That's just a ball. We try it again, and it's a 21 for a 30. That's what we wanted to see happen. Bunt over the left side. Lobert has it, and he flips that one over to Huggins for the out at first. Steinfeld moves up to second. Here's Jimmy Slagle with a chance to drive one in, but he rolls a 32 for a 26, and that's a ground ball to Huggins, who throws to first for the out. We go to the top of the eighth, still 1-0 Cubs. Admiral Schley now rolls a 62 for a 12, and that's a ground ball over to Chance, who makes the play himself. One out. Here's Bob Ewing, the pitcher. Rolls a 23 for a 32. It's a fly ball over to right field. Schultz has it for the out, too. Away here's Hans Lobert. Lobert rolls a 65 for a 35, and that's a little foul out over behind first base, rather. Chance has it for the out. We go to the bottom of the eighth, and here is Overall. He rolls a 13 for a 22. That's always fun. That's a comebacker over to Ewing, and he boots it, and that's a single, or a single in air, rather. Good as a single. Overall is on first base, and here comes Evers. Rolls a 23 for a 13, and that's a strikeout. Only the first strikeout for Bob Ewing in this one. Here's Joe Tinker, who rolls a 16 for a 28. It's going to be a ground ball over there to Holtzswith. Throws over to first for the out, and Overall moves to second. And here's Frank Chance with a chance to drive it in. He rolls a 53 for a 19, and that is a hit by pitch. It's one of those kind of rare rolls that you don't always see. 2 outs, runners on first and second. Johnny Kling up there now, and he rolls a 23 for a 32. It's a fly ball over to right field. Mitchell has it for the out. We go to the top of the ninth. And here comes Miller Huggins, and he rolls a 32 for a 26. That is a ground ball to Evers. Throws to first for the out. One away. John Gansel now rolls a 51 for an 8, and that's a little ground ball to Tinker. Throws to first for the out. 2 outs, and it's Dode Paskert, last chance. He rolls a 13 for a 14, and that means he gets the walk against Overall, who's pitched very, very well so far today. But there is the walk, and that means that the tying run is on first base. And let's see what happens from here on out. Paskert is the tying run at first base, and there's 2 outs here in the top of the ninth inning. And who is coming up next? Let's take a look. It's going to be Kane coming up next. And I don't think there's much we can do with Paskert. We could do a hit and run. Let's give that a try. Might as well. Might as well try anything you can in this situation. I'll move the dice tray back a little bit. Rolls a 24 for a 13, and you can just forget about it, and that's a strikeout. That ends the ball game. Strikeout number 7, I think there. Yes, number 7 for Overall, and that will end it. Your final score, Cubs 1, Reds nothing. Not exactly the most exciting game in the world, but it was a closely fought game, and there you have it. I'll see you with more tomorrow. Bye-bye.